Okay, rhythm.
No.
Rhythm. Go ahead and take notes. Because the way you take notes, write down everything that I write on the board. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna learn about rhythm. R H Y T H M. Rhythm means when do you play the note? And for how long? Rhythm means when do you play the note and for how long? What grade are you in again?
Third.
Third, okay. So we have numbers, and that's what we use, is numbers. So there's different rhythms. This here is, well, a symbol, a note, consists of a couple things. It can have a note head, right? And that's open. And then we have a note head, which is filled. And then we have a stem. And we have a flag, which can look like this, or this. Flag. So we have an open note head, a closed note head or a filled note head, a stem, S-T-E-M, and a flag. And the flag can be extended or dropped down. Make sure you write all this down. If you're listening to the tape, write everything down, please. So those symbols we just learned are the components of the notes. So this is a quarter note. Just because it is, for no other reason. It has a closed note head and a stem. Quarter note. This is a half note. Half note has an open note head and a stem. This is a whole note. whole note is an open note head without a stem. But we won't worry about this today, that's for another lesson, but I'll just show you. This is an eighth note. It has a closed note head, a stem, and a flag. So make sure you write everything down that's on the board. This is it. This is the meat of what we're doing. So you have to write this down. Yeah, you may want to flip the page and make it a little cleaner. That's okay. Just flip the page here and just take those notes there. Quarter, half, whole. And I'm actually going to rewrite them a little bit differently. Alright, we'll put a couple of column headers up here. Symbol. That's a column header. Go ahead and write that down. Symbol. The name of the note. So for instance, the whole note will look like this. This is the symbol. The name is whole note. Go ahead and draw this whole thing. This is something new. Then the number of beats. Okay, which is going to be 4. Then we have the percentage of the measure. Have you done percentages at all? Okay. This is the percent symbol. It's a circle with a slash and a circle. Percent of measure. It gets 100%. 100% means the whole thing. Then we'll draw a pi to show the percent of measure. And we'll shade in the amount of the pi that it gets. Then we have the rest. Like that. That's the symbol. Whoop, I drew the wrong symbol for the rest. Don't draw that. That is a quarter rest, not a whole rest. A whole rest is an upside down hat. And we can remember it because an upside down hat has a hole in it. Tell me to stop. Okay. So we have a whole note. And down here, we'll draw this right here. What is this purple line called? This purple line is called a bar line. It's a bar line.
Bar line.
Yeah, go ahead and draw a bar line. Yeah, that's fine. We can also call it a measure line. The word bar and measure are the same. There's no difference. And the bar line, or measure line, will separate the music into bars. So this is bar 1, this is bar 2. So I'll draw another bar line. One, two. And the whole note will get the whole measure. Whole means all. W-H-O-L-E means everything, all. So the whole note is drawn like that. Now how do we play it? We don't just play it like this. We play 1, 2, 3, 4, off, and then I take my finger off. We hold it for all 4 beats. So we probably need a time signature here. Let's put the meter. That's the meter, number 4. The meter is the top number in the time signature. We'll put the meter on the treble staff and the bass staff, but it's the same meter. It's not 2 different meters. And then we'll put the bottom number in the time signature. We don't have to worry about what that is. It's a relic from the past. We'll draw a whole note. That's a whole note. I drew it a little bit thick, but it has a hole in it. And it lasts for 4 beats, so we'll write in the beats. Everything I write down, you go ahead and write it down. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. I'm going to draw a whole note over here, but I'm going to draw the whole note in such a way so that you can see how long we hold, for how long we hold the note, all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the beats for the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to draw this whole note as though we were going to keep our finger down on the piano the entire time. Notice we draw through 4. We don't stop at 4. So if we were to actually draw the whole note to represent the amount of time we keep our finger on the piano, it would look like that. That's not how we draw it. That's how we draw it. But that's how it sounds. The whole note does not have a stem. So you can see this whole note does not have a stem. Whole note. This whole note does not have a stem. If we look at the back of the book, does this note have a stem?
No.
Does this note have a stem? Yes.
Yes.
So that's not a whole note, it's something else. So this note does not have a stem, but these notes do have stems, so they're not whole notes. The last note is a whole note. For how long do we hold the whole note?
For beats?
4 beats. That's exactly right. 4 beats. Yeah. Now let's look at the half note. I'll use a different color so we can keep track of things. That's a half note. It has an open note head and a stem. It's spelled H-A-L-F. The L is kind of silent, half. N-O-T-E. The half note gets 2 beats. So if there's 4 beats in the bar, we can have 2 half notes. 1, 2. There's our open note head and the stem, so we know it's a half note. 2 beats. What percent of the measure does it get? Well, 100 divided by 2 is what? What plus what equals 100?
50.
50. So it gets 50% of the measure. Exactly. And if we draw a pie to represent 50%, we're only going to shade in half the pie. And a half rest looks like the whole rest. It's a hat, but it's not upside down. It's a right side up hat. The way I remember that is that a whole note rest has a hole in it because it's an upside down hat. The half note rest if I erase the L from the word half and I get rid of the top of the F, it looks like the word hat. Half sounds like hat. So that's a half note rest. A hat that you can wear. oftentimes the whole note rest and the half note rest will be drawn in such a way so that they rest on a ledger line. So if you draw the ledger line through the half note rest, it covers the rim of the hat. And so it looks like a box. In fact, the book even describes the half note rest as a box. It doesn't say it's a hat, but it's not a box, it's a hat. The rim of the hat is being covered. And that goes for the same of the whole note, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll see a half note rest written like that. And you get to more complicated music. And you will see the rim of the half note rest or the whole note rest. Sometimes you'll see the rest above the staff. And so it'll look like that. It's not going to look like a box. It's going to look like a hat. A 2-beat rest. 2 beats of silence. If I were to draw the half note rest in such a way so as to illustrate how long you hold the note for how long you hold the note, I would draw it like this. Okay, those should be equal, but I don't know. This one looks a little longer. The second one. So we have the open note head. I've extended the open note head over 2 beats so that you can see
4 0
if I put the rhythm on
3 4 0
and I do this 1 2 3 4, you hold the half note for 2 beats. And a beat is the ticking of the metronome. That's very important. The definition of the word beat is the ticking of the metronome, because before metronomes, the teacher would beat on his leg or his chest to keep the beat. The tempo is the speed of the beat. This is a metronome. That's the beat. That little red light and that sound. It's the steady pulse that drives the piece forward. Not really the pulse, but we'll call it a pulse. The steady undulation, the rhythmic undulation, the low frequency that drives the piece forward, and a beat has the same amount of time from the previous beat to the current beat as it does from the current beat to the next beat. So we're talking about time. And the speed of the beat is tempo. So a half note lasts for 2 beats. It lasts for half the measure. And there's a pie, like an apple pie. If I slice an apple pie down the middle, we get 2 halves. So that represents the half note. 2 half notes will take up the whole measure. Quarter note. A quarter note has a filled-in note head. And a quarter note is spelled Q-U-A-R-T-E-R. Quarter means 1 out of 4 pieces. A quarter note gets 1 beat. Consists of a closed note head and a stem. The line going down out of the note head is the stem. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to draw the quarter note to illustrate the amount of time you would hold the note for, it would look like this. That stem is a little slanted, sorry. Quarter, 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 quarter. So you hold the quarter note for a little bit of time. That's an F. If I keep the tempo but I don't hold the quarter note as long, you get. Oh, there's one more. We hold it for a little longer. Actually, technically, you really only hold the quarter note for about half, but we won't get into that. That's classical music. We don't actually publish music this way. I just wanted to write it that way to show you for how long we hold the note. We publish music this way. Now, why don't we publish music that way? Well, because there might be some other notes that are going do, 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 and then the notes will clash. They'll crash into each other. We don't want that to happen. So you have to count. Musicians are always counting to 4. If the meter is 3, we're always counting to 3. Even to this very day, after all this time, I'm counting to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In my mind. If I'm in the symphony, and we're doing I'm counting to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. What? Da 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 da. I'm always counting to 4. I'm playing, I'm always counting to 4. Or 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm playing, but I'm thinking of counting. Even to this very day, it's automatic. If the symphony messes up, if the ensemble messes up, we kind of throw that measure out, but we keep the tempo going and everybody meets back up on 1. That's the rule. Meet back up on 1. If there's a train wreck in the middle of the piece. A quarter note gets 25% of the measure. And a quarter note pie looks like this. We cut the pie in half, we cut the pie in half again, we shade one of the 4 pieces. If you cut the pie into 4 equal parts, each part is called a quarter. Say quarter.
Quarter.
Good. And that's a quarter. And a quarter rest looks like this. So there's 4 quarter notes in 1 bar of music. Very well.